Hello, Terry. Yeah, look, bud, this is Ostenzo Z, Jerry, and we need to have a talk, dude. This podcast you're doing is not the forum to talk about family business, especially when you're accusing Enzo G. Jerry's cousin and my nephew of being a goddamn liar and saying you would do something and then not doing it. That's not how we do things in this family. Terry, I know you're not that guy. I know you're not that kind of person. We've known each other a long time. And I'm not here to say we're going to get lawyers or whatever, but I strongly encourage you to rethink what you're saying on the air to these people, to your audience. Okay, give me a call, bud. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yo, it's the Jerry Tyler Botash Potashtic podcast. Ass blast the next flash, strike up the mic clash. It's the business, talking about Jerry Tyler, nail biter, fantastic fighter. Dropping knowledge till your pants get tighter. Busting up and lighten up, pour a couple wine, sipping up. The facts, the cracks, the backs, the yakety yak. No slack, it's a podcast. Terry Tyler Botash. Yo, it's Terry Tyler Botash.
Welcome back to the Terry Tyler Botash Potashtic podcast.
Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and I really mean that. Good morning. It's fantastic to be alive, regardless of whether you're in your morning, afternoon, or evening.
Be blessed. Just be
Things
blessed.
are going to be okay. Right?
We don't know how lucky we are to wake up here.
I don't usually go into
Yeah.
spirituality or religion or those kinds of things,
Right?
but I feel like it's important to know the devil always loses. The devil always loses.
That's right.
You might remember from the last episode
Yeah.
when I did that incantation from that
The black magic spell. Right.
sort of esoteric scroll that we kind of dug into online that said
The one you generate with AI, right?
we would be able to sell the
Toyota
Honda
2006 Honda Civic.
for a price that would allow us to put a deposit down on
Dividend.
a newer
Shall we say.
car, and we did that, and like I said, it's always a good morning. We
Drum roll.
I feel like I'm just announcing something spectacular here, and people might not believe me, but I swear to God, we did it. It worked. It works. All you have to do is trust,
Holy, yeah, trust. It's trust.
and things will go your way.
It's a trust thing.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a religious or a spiritual guy. I really am not. And
I mean, maybe.
but this
We're not hating.
whole thing, oh my God, it is having me
It blows your mind.
question everything. I did the ritual, down to the salts, the flowers, the incense, all this stuff, and they say
You gotta be careful.
it's all in your mind. I've got to tell you, it is not. It is not.
I mean, I've never said that. I've heard other people who have said that.
I got a call from someone.
Not my cousin. My cousin is
This
fine.
was this is Enzo's cousin, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's who he said he was. You said
That's who
you
he
didn't
was.
recognize the number, but that's who he was. That's who he said he was.
That was not my cousin. I swear to God.
He bought the car,
That was not my cousin. That is not his phone number.
and
I don't know if somebody heard the last episode.
he paid what I asked for it.
Okay. Well, you got the money. That's it. That's it.
Like,
right?
if you can't believe in miracles in 2025, maybe you're not doing the work.
Right.
because it's out there.
It wasn't my
This
cousin.
shit is out there. I literally did a search and it's there
No, yeah, okay.
for
whatever.
weeks. This car was on the market. I thought nothing would ever happen, and I do one thing, and then mysteriously, someone is not only willing to
I mean, you got me. I don't know what it is.
take on
Is it what
this car or recognize the
things we don't
value of the
understand,
car,
Terry,
but
I
also
know
give
that.
me the full value of it. And now I've
You've arrived?
got a handful of, well, I won't say whether it was
Cha-ching.
cash or
Yeah.
how the money was deposited, because, I don't want somebody like showing up at my house
Cash money, bro.
late at night trying to, break in and steal shit, but
Or try to like scam you with a fake number.
let's just say the debit has been credited. Right? Anyway, so, yep, I sold the car. Everything's fantastic. I just want to remind everyone that just like this show is a good morning show, every day is a good morning.
Yeah.
Don't just let things get you down,
Oh, man.
because there's always something on
You gotta stay
the
strong.
horizon.
To get
There's
strong and
always
stuff, bro.
going to be that
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that you might say it's the universe kind of winking at you
Winky.
and saying, you
What a
don't
trace,
know
bro.
what's going to happen next.
Holy shit.
And that is exactly what I experienced, and that is what I tell everyone I experienced. So, I'm so excited. Let's get down and dirty right into the
Down and dirty, down and dirty.
controversy of the user interface of hand dryers.
We're going deep. Boys.
So, every technology
Son,
has its pioneers.
Going deep. Yeah.
And some have made the argument for touch screens or at voice activation.
I would love to see all of that in a movie.
Picture this in the context of a hand dryer. You look at a hand dryer and you say, blow me in it, and you hold your hands under it, and it dries your hands. So maybe the hand dryer can be more expensive.
Right.
Maybe it can dry. We talked about this in the last episode about misuses of hand dryers. But maybe those uses can be expanded in the same way that what we now call a phone can do many other things. Maybe the hand dryer can dry a wet spot on your shirt. Maybe it can cool you down like a fan. Or maybe it can warm you up. Whatever.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
And some people will say to change the hand dryer, you need to change the definition of the bathroom. Now, this gets my
Holy shit.
mind going into places it's not normally supposed to go. So I gotta say, if we expand, yes, the definition of the hand dryer, the situation in which the hand dryer exists must be, yes, an actual bathroom, maybe appropriate for a gym or a place like that. It's probably not going to be your average public restroom. Yeah, I think. If we're really entering into the potential of the technology behind hand dryers itself and its uses, like the phone, like things that can be made using smartphone technology, for example, we might say that hand dryer is not going to be solely a hand dryer anymore. It's almost like a question of what kind of coffee machine you like to see when you go into a convenience store, right?
Okay, yeah.
Now, just bear with me. Now, a lot of them just have your basic drip coffee machine or a pot.
I've heard of that.
You get the coffee. Then you grab the milk, sugar, creamer, whatever. Others have that screen where you tell it
Yeah.
which of all of those things you want. So, in effect, the machine has made those aspects of your experience inaccessible to you except in the way predefined by the machine, whereas the manual intervention required in the non-machine way allows you to put as much of a proportion of those things as you want. So we gain automation, we lose choice.
Yes.
So
Yes. I'm following
sometimes, though, others have that screen where you tell it to put in so much of those things that you want. That's fairly rare.
It
Now, on the one hand,
is. It's actually fucking rare, bro.
that sort of latter type has some advantages in it that could be maybe you have a frother in there. You add those special dimensions that you can't get if you just pour coffee into a cup. But the former is much more, shall we say, do-it-yourself, DIY.
Yeah.
Do I want a cappuccino as defined by the machine, or do I want to come as close as I can to approximating a cappuccino with what I think I like about it? We are breaking ground every single day on this show.
Yeah.
And so you once said to me, you've got to at least know about the basic breakdown of the type of coffee that you want to be able to use the components on your own. In effect,
I still believe that. 100%, bro. Fully.
You have to
I will defend
have
that to my death.
The barista's knowledge under your cap to be able to manually enter those dimensions into your coffee.
And we can put this
so
in a
there
hand
might
dryer
be some
context,
advantage to having a machine that just says, oh, okay, you want a mocha, you want such and such, we'll get it for you.
All right.
You don't have to know. Enzo has told me he makes his coffees about 3/4 black coffee, then adds milk, usually no creamer, no sugar, and when he comes across one of those machines and asks for a basic coffee and milk thing,
I go nuts.
It might taste better.
You called me out on it. That's all right.
But there's less coffee. And then and then he adds a sugar to make it less milky.
It reduces
right?
the bitterness, right? Yeah.
So that's a tough
I
one.
don't like my coffee tasting
because,
anything like coffee.
I don't necessarily think that way. But when I think about it, under any circumstances, just in my case, I'll do 1 or 2 shots of espresso in a cup, larger than recommended. yeah. Then add the milk, no creamer, maybe 4 to 5 sugars. Don't judge me. I know, but that's for dipping a donut into.
Oh, yeah.
And then drinking once the donut's been eaten. And I had a chat with Enzo about this, and Enzo, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
We never add the hazelnut or the vanilla creamer or the syrup or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've never even actually tried it. Maybe those of you who have can correct me in the comments or in the messages. I've never even tried that once.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know whether that's a good idea. But are these the kinds of decisions we want introduced when people just need to dry their hands? And
circle back.
I wouldn't say never, but I would say rarely. Rarely. I just mean if I'm at a nice enough place and the hand dryer had a touch screen where I could dry my hands, maybe get a little lotion even, like a spritz of jasmine, bergamot, I could get used to that.
I love that word.
I'm
zest.
betting a lot of people could. If it were free. Which it never would be. It never would be free.
None of this would ever work.
But that doesn't put a full stop on it, right? I mean, even with all the talk about coffee machines and options and this and that, all of those things are paid for. The hand dryer is a free service.
Crazy. Everything is like,
so
it's all ad-based, bro.
Well,
Don't
you're
you
right.
realize
Ultimately,
that?
it's a free
crazy.
service. Ultimately. Some places charge for bathroom usage, but I've never seen a place that's free shit, free wash, and $1.50 for the hand dryer. Excuse my language. I would not pay. I would never pay to dry my hands. So that pretty much settles the user interface question. If there can't be a fee, the simple on or off must remain free. Folks, again, welcome to the Terry Tyler Botash Potashtic podcast with myself, Terry Tyler Botash, and the wonder child, the effervescent Enzo Jerry with a G Elefante. If you've just tuned in,
you're in luck.
We are on, I'm not even going to say how many episodes we have now. We've already got a legacy going. We're already moving.
Like
this
10,
place
right?
is
How
ascending.
long have we been doing this? I feel like
And
grandpa.
we've got a brand new office. I actually didn't mention this at the beginning of the episode, but we have a brand new studio space that we are using based on the kind donations of our sponsor and others of you who have submitted voluntary donations to us. As I've mentioned before, I'm not a money guy. I don't feel like this is a podcast that can be monetized.
It's not.
Really.
It's so not.
But we appreciate everything you guys send to us.
From chasing the green.
I like to think of this podcast as every episode is the first episode. Every episode is the one where we get the opportunity to capture a new
Yes, that is what I'm
person
talking about.
Who could be a part of our audience, a fan, a sponsor, anything else like that. Every episode is the first episode. So that's the philosophy that we have here. So far, we've covered some of the biggest questions everyone's asking. And if I could summarize what we've discussed so far from the very beginning, at this point, you all have this 3D model of hand dryer dynamics in your mind. And our first dimension is speed. Our second is noise. Our third is
like literal pain.
Airflow. And then we have air quality, which is our fourth dimension.
You gotta review.
And then when we look at environmental impact, we're really getting into basically the quantum physics of hand dryers. And the point is not to get too ethereal, where all of this is the foundation. All of this is what's going to build our expertise in hand dryers.
Well, are we?
And some of you that might feel like they've been thrown into the middle of this conversation, if this is the first episode that you've heard and you're still trying to catch up,
like
some of you might feel like you're behind, like you've missed out on something. And look, there's no better place to start.
You got thrown into conversation between Play-Doh and Socrates.
Than the reason hand dryers are there to begin with.
No,
we gotta dry our hands.
It doesn't have to be hard.
First, we gotta wash them. Enzo Jerry. Seems like every day we're learning new reasons for why it's a good idea to wash your hands. And I'm going to finish this episode with a story. It literally all started with a doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis, and I might be mispronouncing this. Send me a message in the comments if I am. Ignaz Semmelweis was a Hungarian physician born in 1818 in the Austrian Empire. He trained as an obstetrician and worked at the Vienna General Hospital, which was a prominent teaching hospital, actually, of the time. In the early 1840s, he began to notice a huge contrast in maternal mortality rates between two clinics within the hospital. The first clinic, which was staffed by medical students and physicians, and the second clinic, which was managed by midwives.
This is
Now
a true
that's what I'm
story,
thinking. The first clinic, where medical students and physicians conducted deliveries, had a significantly higher maternal mortality rate compared to the second clinic. Semmelweis was puzzled by this discrepancy and set out to investigate. His meticulous observations led him to a groundbreaking conclusion. The high mortality rate in the first clinic was linked to the lack of hand hygiene among medical personnel. Whew, that's big. That is really big. And you know what? We're going to continue this story in our next episode, and I'll never be more excited to bring it to you. Have a fantastic rest of your morning, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. And we will continue this story when we return for episode 7 of the Terry Tyler Botash Potashtic podcast. Everyone have a fantastic morning.
Thank you.